trade to territory. Now, company rule expands. So what we discussed earlier was East India Company, how it emancipated or expanded. Truly, it was a trading company. So the politics came, the things came when they came here. So they have to come into politics. They started in Bengal and they had Mir Jafar, Mir Qasim as puppets in place of the Nawabs. And the company never, previously from 1757 to 1857, they never had a military attack directly on any unknown territory, the territory which they don't know. But they did something because they wanted to extend their influence, because they want to annex, they want to control, they want to get their land, they want to get the power. So what they did? They used the tactics, political, economical and diplomatic. That is politics, they use this Rajniti, economic means Arthik and diplomatic means Kutnitik. So this kind of variety of methods or process or techniques they used in order to get that land, to get the power. Because as I said, from 1757 to 1857, they rarely attack directly on any territory which is alien to them, which is not known to them. Right? Okay. But after Buxar, when Buxar happened in 1764, after Buxar, what they did, they started a new thing. They appointed whichever states in which they controlled or they annexed, they would appoint residents. That is, in Buxar, when they won, they appointed a resident. That is their men only. That is an Englishman only. As a resident, basically he was an agent. He was an agent politically and commercially working for the company. That is, why do you respect the neta or leader? Because this respect is only when you want some work to be done. So the interest of the company is taken care by this political and commercial agent, who was actually the main person, key between the ruler and the company. Hope you got the idea. So East India Company, through this resident, it is actually interfering or controlling the internal affairs of the Indian state which they have annexed or controlled. For example, who is going to be the next Raja or Rani? Who is going to be the successor of the throne? Who is going to be given a good positions, administrative position, or whom they have to throw? So sometimes they would do subsidiary alliance. Sahayak Sandhi it is called as. So they would force the state sometimes for subsidiary alliance. For example, if this is one place we can say, they will say you will not have any armed forces. You will not have. But the protection is given by East India Company. This is the subsidiary alliance. That is, the state will not have its own army, no army, but you have to pay for the army which East India Company is keeping in order to provide protection to your state. This is called the subsidiary alliance. Okay. Basically, the state have to pay for these subsidiary forces, the Sahayak army, for them, whichever Suba, whichever province we are talking about, state we are talking about, they have to pay for these forces which East India Company is keeping in order to maintain these forces, because they are saying that we are providing protection. But sometimes the states or the different provinces, they wouldn't pay. They fail to pay because they are not getting that payment or that revenue. So sometimes they wouldn't pay. And when the payment, which is under the subsidiary alliance, so this company will take away some part of their territory. That is, one part they will take, because you're not paying the payment, so you have to give penalty. So give us the penalty, and they take the penalty in terms of territory. For instance, let me tell you about Richard Wellesley. Richard Wellesley, when he was Governor General from 1798 to 1805. Now this Richard Wellesley, he forced to give half of the regime or territory which Nawab of Awadh owned in 1801. So half of the part, the Nawab of Awadh, that is the Awadh area, half of the part has to be given to Richard Wellesley or the company in 1801. I'm talking about Hyderabad also. Hyderabad also, because of the subsidiary alliance, because they failed to pay the subsidiary forces, they have to have a penalty, and they have to give a lot of places. So resident, there are two words which has come here. I have told you about resident. The two words injunction. Injunction is basically nirdesh or instruction, the order. And subservience means submissiveness. That is dabbupan. That is, if you say something, I'll just abide by that. I will not ask question. I'll show you a picture also. He is Nawab Shujauddaulah of Awadh. Now after Buxar, there was a treaty. Most of the authority of Shujauddaulah was taken away. But still, if you see, he is still showing his splendor. Now, I am talking about a very great man. He is Tipu Sultan. A great name for India, a great name who fought against British with all his might, power and valor. He is called Tipu Sultan, the tiger of Mysore, Sher-e-Mysore. Please remember, Sher is lion, okay? But he was called as tiger of Mysore, Sher-e-Mysore. So what they did, as I said, the company, they don't want to go and direct attack. But now sometimes they have to attack. They would use direct military attack. Because if something happens to their trade, their political and economic interest, if they saw or if they see any threat, they will go and do the military confrontation. This company will do that. Okay, so we'll take an example of this Mysore. Now there are two names, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Hyder Ali, we are talking about Mysore. Now when Hyder Ali was there, and when Tipu Sultan after this, so Hyder Ali was between 1761, he ruled from 1761 to 1782. Just after that, from 1782 to 1799, Tipu Sultan ruled Mysore. Now the main point is, they both are strong. These rulers were strong rulers. They were not just ordinary rulers. Okay? So that is why they did certain things which made the company to have confrontation with them. Military attack. So as I said, Mysore, right from the Hyder Ali area till Tipu Sultan, they controlled everything. They had power. And if I show you the area, this is the peninsular region of India I'm showing you. This is Malabar and this is the Coromandel coast. So Malabar coast is the left side which I'm showing you. Now this Malabar coast, most of the port area is controlled by this Mysore regime. Now the company will do what? Black gold, pepper, they would trade. They would do cardamom, okay, elaichi. So sandalwood also, sandalwood, chandan. So spices basically. So sandalwood, pepper, cardamom, through their kingdom. These all were under trade, under company. 1785, what he did, Tipu Sultan, he said, no export will be done through our port. The port which we control, no export will be done. Okay, remember what I said, sandalwood, pepper, cardamom, because the ports are in their kingdom. And they also said that ports will not do any export. Along with this, because every export was through these ports only. Ships were coming, ships were going. Along with this, Tipu Sultan said the local people, local merchant, local traders, all these local will not work with company. They will not trade with company. They will not help company. Okay. There's one more thing. Because the French colony was there, French people were there. So Tipu Sultan had a very great relationship with the French people. That is how the French actually made his, they helped his army to be modernized. So the relationship with French, and French helped them to Tipu to modernize their army or his army. Now here British got furious. First of all, British has a problem with French, and British has problem with now Tipu. So the British thought that Hyder Ali initially and now Tipu, they are quite ambitious, arrogant, dangerous people, and dangerous for what? They trade. So now they need to crush them. And if it's very interesting that Mysore and East India Company, they fought 4 wars. First is from 1767 to 69. Second was 1780 to 84. Then 1790 to 92. This was the third war. And finally, the battle of Seringapatam, Srirangapatnam in Hindi we call it, Seringapatam 1799. This was the last battle. And here, after being defeated or not getting through, finally in 1799, the famous battle of Seringapatam, company got victory. They defeated Tipu Sultan, and finally they killed Tipu, or you can say Tipu was killed defending Seringapatam, which was the capital of famous Mysore. Okay? And what happened after that? Because now company has control. So before that, this Mysore area and the Seringapatam was, before Hyder Ali and Tipu, this was controlled by a very, trading kind of dynasty called as Vodiyars. Vodiyars were controlling this area. And then Tipu Sultan was killed. And finally they made Vodiyars, and same thing, subsidiary alliance were imposed. This was imposed on this, that you will not have any army, we will give you army, you have to pay for the army. This is what these Britishers did for this regime, this area. Now various things happen, and some are very, very tragic actually, because there were many wars. So this is Lord Cornwallis which you see here, and these are the son of Tipu Sultan. Can you imagine? These sons of Tipu Sultan were taken as hostages because the company forces were defeated by Hyder Ali and Tipu number of times. But in 1792, there were three different regimes which were fighting against Tipu. First Maratha, second Nizam of Hyderabad, and the company. So 3 were fighting against Tipu, and Tipu has to sign a treaty. And this Sandhi, this treaty was, his 2 sons will be taken as hostages. Can you imagine at that time? This kind of treaties were done. And Indians were fighting against Indians. Okay. I'll show you a picture. This is a big mechanical toy that Tipu had. Tipu possessed. So this is a tiger which is mauling a European soldier, or it's killing actually. Mauling means cutting and killing. So this is Tipu's toy tiger. If you turn the handle, the toy tiger will produce the voice, roar, like this. And the soldier will, like this. Soldier shrieked. So this kind of voices will come when the handle will be turned. And this khilona, this toy, is now in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. When Tipu died on Seringapatam, 4th May 1799, British took this toy along with them, and now it is at British Museum. I'll tell you a story before that. Let me show you an idea or map of Seringapatam. This is 1792. The whites are British, the blacks are the French and natives, like the French and the Mysoreans. Now I'll tell you a story. Why do we call Tipu Sultan as Shere Mysore? Please remember, Sher is lion, not, but here we are talking about tiger. So all the good stories about Tipu Sultan was there. I'll tell you a story. What happened when Tipu Sultan became ruler of Mysore in 1782? So he went for hunting along with his French friend. So when they went for shikar hunting, they came face to face with a tiger. So there was a tiger, and now Bag. Basically, it's a tiger. It's a Bag. Okay. So he should be called as Shere, not Baghe Mysore, but he is Shere Mysore. Now what happened here? That when they were confronted with this tiger, Tipu Sultan gun didn't work. It didn't work. And the dagger, that is the katar, a kind of knife, it fell down on the ground. So now there was a battle. Hand held belter, unarmed. He managed, Tipu Sultan fought with all power and valor, and finally he managed to pick up the dagger and kill the tiger. That is why we call him as Tiger of Mysore. In Hindi we call as Shere Mysore. Okay. So he also has a tiger on his flag. Tipu Sultan has a tiger in his dynasty flag. So that is why this story was so important, and his power was shown in this, and he showed it actually. He fought. He took a stand against the Britishers, right? Now after this, what happened? Because the Britishers were all going, moving and annexing different regimes. So Marathas also had the same fate. So let me show you the Maratha region. I'll talk about Gwalior, Indore, Nagpur, Pune. So these all different are covered by different say Sardars. I'll just talk about that. Just remember, this region were all Maratha Empire in 1760. I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm talking about the late 18th century. That is what 1716 I'm saying. So let us take 1780 and go before that 1760. So now the Marathas, if you remember, Maratha fought a famous war of Panipat in 1761. That is from Pune they went up to Panipat. They wanted to control Delhi. But now in 1761, the Panipat was between Afghans and the Marathas. And since the Marathas were annexing and controlling and countering and defeating various different regimes, the problem was Marathas were not being supported. That is why the Ahmad Shah Abdali, the Afghans and different other allies, they confronted Marathas, and finally Marathas' dream of ruling Delhi was shattered because they lost in Panipat in 1761. Okay, so now this Maratha state was divided into different states, the Maratha regime, and there are different Sardars, or you can say chief. So these are four parts. I'll talk about Sindhya Gwalior, Holkar Indore type, Gaikwad and Bhosle Nagpur. Okay, so this is Gaikwad coming to this Pune area, right? Now these four, that is Sindhya, Holkar, Gaikwad and Bhosle, these were chiefs, but they were under a single control of Peshwa. That is, they all were independent but together under the control of Peshwa. Peshwa is nothing but principal minister. It started from Shivaji, right time. Okay, Peshwa is principal minister. From Shivaji it started. So they had a confederacy. Confederacy means they were in alliance. They won't fight against one another. They will help each other like this. So this is confederacy under Peshwa. So now they had the military and administrative head based in Pune, which is Peshwa I'm talking about. And I'll tell you the names also. Some of the names are very famous. So Maratha made an alliance. Let me tell you again, because this is very important. This is the question being asked. Which are the four which are under confederacy in Maratha? So you need to remember these four: Sindhya, Holkar, Gaikwad, Bhosle. Now I'll tell you the names. They were so powerful people which Maratha produced, like Mahaji Sindhya and Nana Fadnis. These were famous Maratha soldiers, and they were statesmen also, like Rajnitik, political. They have quite good view of politics. Now, finally, as I said, Tipu Sultan was subdued. Similarly, Marathas were also subdued by a number of wars. So it's called Anglo-Maratha War. Anglo-Maratha War. So finally, what happened? See, I'll tell you about one war. First war between this Anglo-Maratha War, 1782. No one won. No one won. So it ended with the Treaty of Salbai. Okay, there was no clear victor. Second Anglo-Maratha War was from 1803 to 05, 1803 to 05, and different front fighting was done. And after this, British got control of Odisha and the northern part of Yamuna, that is Agra and Delhi also. This is Yamuna, this is the Yamuna. So northern part, which is a very important part, fertile part. So they got control of Odisha as well as this Agra and Delhi. Then the third war, which was the Anglo-Maratha War of 1817 to 19, finally the Marathas were crushed. Means finally their power were crushed. And this Peshwa, which was the key figure, principal minister, he was removed and he was sent away to Bithur. Bithur is a place near Kanpur. And he was given pension. Okay, you go, we'll give you money every month. Pension. So Bithur, he was sent. Now, when he was sent, the company has total control over the south of the Vindhyachal. Okay, this portion. That is almost all. That is how the empire of this British went ahead. Okay, now I'll talk about this claim of paramountcy, and this we are going to take in the next discussion. Okay, till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.